Big news in the MMA world has come out recently as Conor McGregor has stated that he himself will be back in action. Remember when I say this is according to him. He will be back against Michael Chandler in Las Vegas for International Fight Week. And if this does happen, the MMA and fighting world is going to go crazy. Now, the last time we saw him was, of course, against Dustin Poirier in July of 2021 when he lost against Dustin Poirier. And so it's been 3 years since we've seen him. 3 years since the notorious Conor McGregor has entered the octagon. And according to him, he will be back once again against Michael Chandler at 185 pounds. Love him or hate him, let's be real, you guys will be watching if he does come back. I will be watching. My dad will probably watch. He hates fighting. But the guy brings eyeballs to the sport. He brings something different, you know? He says what he's going to do. Most of the time he does back it up. Recently, not so much, but he does back it up. And that's why people want to watch him. Now, I do believe that if he had fought straight after the Poirier loss, his stock might have gone down. Well, not straight after because he broke his leg, but as soon as he'd recovered. I do believe his stock would have gone down slightly, and I do think that this waiting, this anticipation that fight fans have for him to come back has added value. And why has this added value? Well, to me, it's because we have more questions about McGregor. Adding to this is all the questions that we've developed over this time of waiting about McGregor. For example, does he still have it? Is his left hand still powerful? Can he crack a punch? And finally, and this is the most important thing, is can Conor McGregor stay disciplined enough to win a fight? Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush, guys, when it comes to his discipline. A lot of YouTubers out there are honest YouTubers, but a lot of MMA YouTubers beat around the bush when it comes to this thing that I'm about to talk about, because, you know, they're big YouTubers, and I've made it my sole purpose is to be honest, right? To just be honest at all times. I say what I see, right? And it's clear to me that Conor McGregor may enjoy sniffing sugar, if you know what I mean. And he also likes a drink, right? He likes to drink a lot. And this is the question that I think a lot of fight fans have. And the question is, can Conor McGregor stay disciplined enough to beat Michael Chandler? Call me a McGregor fanboy all you want, but in my opinion, a disciplined Conor can beat pretty much anyone. Obviously within his weight classes, not John Jones or someone in heavyweight or light heavyweight, but a disciplined Conor McGregor beats most people, in my opinion, and can beat anyone, right? And this is the question I have, is can Conor McGregor be disciplined enough to beat Michael Chandler? If they do fight, because remember, this is according to him. So according to McGregor, this fight is happening at 185 pounds. And this is where my spider senses start tingling a little bit. And I start thinking, maybe this weight class is a mistake. And here's my reasoning. One, he started off at 145 pounds. He was razor sharp. He was good stamina-wise. He still had power. He was prime McGregor, 145. I thought he was amazing. Then he moved up to lightweight. Still fast, still accurate, agile, looking beautiful. But even then we saw him get a little bit tired as the fights went on. He would start to gas out around rounds 3, 4, 5, and sometimes even the later stages of round 2. So 185 pounds, if he's made weight for 145, 185 pounds, imagine how gassed out he will get. And that's where I think the mistake is. It's in the weight. 185 pounds, the guy is going to gas out so quickly. It's going to be ridiculous. So he's fighting in a weight class he's never fought in before, against a high-level opponent in Michael Chandler, after 3 years out of the octagon. Plus he's recovering from a leg break. All these little things make me think that McGregor may be making a huge mistake in selecting the 185-pound weight class. The only positives I can really gather from this are that he has 6 months to prepare for this fight, and that also he is fighting another lightweight who is bulking up in Michael Chandler. Because if he fought an Izzy, a Duplessis, or a Sean Strickland, it would be an absolute joke. I think he'd get absolutely finished, and it would be very quick. So him fighting someone who is also bulking up is good, in my opinion. The only other negative I can think of is that if he was to cut weight, he'd have to be disciplined, right? His diet would have to be good. He'd have to eat well. He probably wouldn't be allowed to snort sugar. He wouldn't be drinking, because drinking does put on weight. Right, he could go for spirits, but I mean beer. He's always drinking beer. So if he was to cut weight to lightweight or 145, he'd have to be disciplined. It would force discipline on him. But because he's fighting at 185, it gives him a little bit more leeway to be less disciplined. That's the other thing that I forgot to mention. Sorry. Shit from me, to be honest. But yeah, that's the other thing that's quite bad. But Michael Chandler is lightweight and bulking up, which is always good, right? But in my eyes, what could happen here, unfortunately, or fortunately, if you hate McGregor, is that Chandler could just wait till rounds 2 and 3, or the second half of round 2, and then round 3, and then just apply pressure when McGregor gets tired, wrestle him to the ground, and finish him off. Pause. And finish him with ground and pound or a choke. That's better. Pretty quickly, if I'm being honest. That's the way I see Michael Chandler winning. I do think Chandler will have to be very careful in rounds 1 and the first half of the second round. He'll have to be careful. But once Conor starts gassing out, if the fight does go on for that long, of course, then I think it's all Michael Chandler's to win. And the last thing I'm going to say here, because this was a video just me expressing my opinions and ideas if he does come back, because he might not come back. Remember, this is him saying this, and the amount of shit this guy chats is ridiculous. So this is all an if. But what I do respect if he does go back in the octagon is that this is a man who has everything, right? He has all the money in the world, all the women in the world. He does have a wife, but let's move swiftly on. He has everything, but if he does get in there, we know that he's doing it, 1, for the belts, he wants to go back for belts, or 2, because he likes that adrenaline and that feeling of stepping out in front of crowds. And personally, I've played in front of crowds, right? I was an ex-pro athlete. I've played in stadiums, and that's the biggest thing I miss, is that crowd, that big crowd there shouting your name or cheering you on. It's a feeling you can't replicate with anything else. I don't think that any drugs that McGregor does or any amount of drinking will replicate that feeling. I've played in front of 10,000 people, so I can only imagine what it's like to step out there when there's 30, 40, I don't know if he stepped out to 50,000, but let's just go 30, 40,000 people cheering his name. And then on top of that, it's 1-to-1 combat. That's the feeling I think he's chasing, that adrenaline, that you can't replicate it. And it would be more, it's more for someone going into 1-to-1 combat rather than another sport which isn't 1-to-1 combat. That's the feeling he's chasing, in my opinion, if he does get back in there, which is always a really, really good sign. So if we do see him back in there, fantastic. Super. I have so much respect if he goes back in there. The guy's got everything. We'll know that he's doing it for good reasons as well if he does go back in there. But anyway, I just wanted to discuss my overall opinions if he does go back in there in Las Vegas, because he might not. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Firstly, do you think he's lying or not? Do you think he's going to be fighting Michael Chandler or not? That's the first question. And my second question is, what do you think happens if he does step in there? Is 185 a mistake? Should he be lighter? Do you think he still has it? Let me know in the comments below. Just want to say a massive thank you for all the support I've been getting on the videos. We've really picked up on the views. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.